What is going on? You are watching Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition. I'm your host, Steve V, and this is episode 332 alongside partner in crime, Kodi Maurice Doggette. How are you?
Hello, darling. I'm okay. How are you doing today? How's your leg?
My leg is good. Thanks for asking. Week out of surgery and yeah, doing good. Doing actually
Good.
good. Yeah, I have to
Glad to hear it.
say. Yeah, you might be wondering if you're watching this, like, what are they wearing?
It's a fashion moment, darling.
It's a
It's a fashion moment.
fun moment. I'm wearing a silk robe here. As Cody mentioned, I broke my ankle. That's not why I'm wearing this, though. It's in honor of the one and only, may he rest in power, Andre Leon Talley, who
Amen.
passed away just yesterday, today, actually. And,
Mhm.
our thoughts and prayers are for his family. But wow, what a force to be reckoned with, Andre
Yes.
Leon Talley, from Vogue, what he did to bringing just the ethnic African American community into the fashion forefront, giving them
Mhm.
a voice,
And the
being a
gay community.
and the gay community. And it's not like he talked so much about being gay.
He did
It
not,
was,
but
but he just was. And I think that's
mhm.
something to kind of part of his legacy. One thing that I was listening to people talk about on the many tributes that people were referencing today
Mhm.
was he had a niche for looking at the ordinary and not making it banal, but saying, open your eyes. There is something like your cleavage right now that you're fixing. Girl,
You
I
getting it
clocked
right,
you.
girl. You did. Oh, this old thing.
Yeah. To the
Oh.
fabric, notice the small things, and that is will draw inspiration. And don't be afraid of color and things of that sort. And I just think I do that. I try and do that already, but I'm going to continue to carry that on. I love fashion so much. Even with
Yes.
my broken ankle last night, I was out and I had this thing that many people probably thought I was wearing a
Ooh,
dress, but it wasn't a
that's okay.
dress. It was, yeah, but it kind of covered up what was going on with the leg a little bit. And when I hobbled through to go to the restroom at this
Mhm.
posh restaurant that my friends treated me to, I was
Nice.
able to kind of look the part. And it's partly because of Andre Leon Talley saying that, yeah, bitch, work, work.
And live your life vibrantly and to the fullest.
Absolutely, absolutely. You look great. I love you in that hat, by the way.
Thank you. This fashion moment here. I wore it for Auntie Andre because I don't know Andre Leon Talley's pronouns, but to me,
Yep.
he's their Auntie Andre.
I love
So
it. I love it. Perfect. All right. Well, we've got a jam-packed show, as you know, Cody. We were preparing for this, and so much to talk about.
oh
If you
yeah.
listened to episode 331 the other day, we were talking about the current Atlantis cruise that set sail on Monday, and we were wondering at over 5,500 passengers what was going to be the case, right? And it's so funny,
Mhm.
Cody, because my friend that's been staying with me, one of my best friends, has been helping me out. He left
Uh-huh.
today, but he was bombarded. He's like, oh
Oh.
my gosh, I didn't realize how many people I knew on the current Atlantis cruise. And he's somebody that looks at his feed, his social media feed regularly, and was just struck at like the opening ceremony or whatever they do. I think they had the military party and everybody
Yeah.
was in thongs and
Dog
like
tag party.
dog
Yeah.
tag party. Yes, I've been to one of those before, but people of course have been speculating, like many people, what's this all going to mean in the middle of a pandemic, a
Yep.
resurgence of course. But Vacaya Cruise Line, which I've been on before, has sort
Okay.
of set sail before. They were like ahead of the game and they're already back. And they're kind of clapping back to a New York Times story that questioned, can a gay cruise keep its
Mhm.
guests safe amid a pandemic? And you know what their answer is? A resounding yes.
Well,
in
okay.
in an article published on Friday, January 14th, the New York Times asked, can a gay cruise keep 4,700 safe amid COVID? In reference to another gay travel company's charter cruise on Royal Caribbean, and we're talking about Atlantis that went out the
Mhm.
other day. Well,
Yes.
Vacaya wasn't mentioned by name in the article. Um, the January 10th through the 17th Caribbean cruise on Celebrity Millennium was referenced, and they just wrapped up their cruise, and they had
Okay.
about 2,000 passengers on their cruise.
Okay.
And their answer was an emphatic yes, with careful execution, they write, of recommended protocols. The LGBT plus community can safely navigate these incredibly challenging times. They write, we feel that the article did not live up to the journalistic integrity we expect from the Times and
Okay.
was an affront to Atlantis events, LGBT travel companies in general. And the gay community, they write. As we begin to come out of the pandemic, it's okay to ask questions about the how, the why, and when we'll return to normal. But the
Mhm.
Times, according to the Vacaya, says completely missed the real story. Their decision to focus on errant quotes taken from various social media pages to
Mhm.
sensationalize the story was both a misfire and they write homophobic. The focus
I
should
thought it was
have
strange
been
too.
yeah, the focus should have been on the positive steps being taken by travel companies to adapt to life in a new world of testing, screening, and exposure reduction through contact tracing, upgraded onboard medical facilities, and staff and improved guest stateroom ventilation.
Mm.
Everyone aboard Vacaya's cruise on Celebrity Millennium had been vaccinated, most had been boosted, and all were tested shortly before boarding. Indoor masking policies remained in place. And I want to talk to you about that, Kodi, in just a
Okay.
second.
Yes. I'm
Lastly, yeah,
busting at the
lastly,
seams over here.
lastly, they write, and despite the CDC's recent decision to make the cruise industry a villain, this is according to them, we applaud
Mhm.
the industry's science-based efforts to mitigate risks. So, yeah, what are your thoughts? I'm glad that because we had a really good discussion with Lincoln the other day on
We
episode
did?
331. I think we all had some precautions, but we are also like, live your best life. I remember saying that I think the one thing that I was concerned about, just if you didn't listen to that episode, was the cruise Atlantis didn't allow. They have their 2-month policy where if you don't cancel within 2 months, you don't get your money back or
Yeah.
anything.
Mhm.
And I think with the airlines allowing you to get credit right now, that they could have had somewhat of a policy, particularly because many of our LGBTQ plus community are HIV positive. They might
Mhm.
be undetectable, but they are still living with HIV, which puts them
Mhm.
in that category that I think knowing Kodi, that
Yes.
a huge portion, I've been on these cruises before where a huge portion that can afford an Atlantis of Vacaya Cruise Line fall into a certain echelon of a community in our community that can afford this,
Mhm.
that sometimes are in the 60 plus echelon that could be living with HIV. I'm just saying, to
Yeah.
not really allow that out, to me, was kind of a miss
Oh,
on
yeah,
their
for
part.
sure. It's definitely
Yeah.
short-sighted on Atlantis's part. So I get what you're saying. And I really hope, I'm glad that Vacaya came out in defense of Atlantis. And I really, really hope that that Atlantis is doing all the things to keep everyone safe on the boat. Now, like Frank, our friend Frank, I follow several people that are on the boat, and I haven't seen a mask yet, but I mean, it is social media, so that it doesn't always give the full story.
Well, I want to
Um,
stop you there
okay, go ahead, go
because two
ahead.
things. One, that you told me offline that we're going to talk about in a second.
I was just
But
getting to
the other
it.
thing that I'm stopping you is because um, they said mass. I'm sure most of the pictures you've seen were of outdoor, where it's
Outdoors.
55,
Uh-huh.
5,000, and it's just like a sea of gay men. But they are outdoors, and the wind is blowing. Um, Vacaya says that they have mask mandates indoors.
Inside,
I'm
which I do.
wondering if Atlanta has that, because that would be really like, aside from going to dinner and taking your mask off amongst your dinner mates, would you like this kind of cruise, wearing your mask
I don't
indoors? I don't
I wouldn't
know.
feel comfortable. I just would not I wouldn't be able to relax. I wouldn't be able to enjoy myself in the way, especially when since Omicron came out and things are more on the rise. I was supposed to go on a training in February in Boston. I canceled it. I postponed it to June. I didn't mention that on Monday's show, but that I really didn't feel 100% safe in traveling and doing those things right now. So I just think
But you
that
had that choice.
I did, and they switched it. I said COVID, and they switched it so fast. My head was turning. I was like, "Wait, I don't have to give you any any backstory or anything like that." They really were very accommodating with that. So I I yeah, I really hope that Atlantis is doing the things that they need to do.
Well, one of the things you were sharing with me offline was that you follow, or you were looking at a handle, Gaze Over COVID, which we've
Uh
talked
huh.
about on this show, which I can't
Yeah.
believe is still active.
Yeah.
Apparently, it is still
I
active.
mean, COVID's still active, so I don't see why they wouldn't be still active.
Okay. And it's crazy, some of the things you shared with me, a story of guys on the dance floor outdoors doing drugs, essentially, which
Recreational
recreational party
favors.
favors.
I was like, how do I say drugs in a nice professional?
We're not going to get in trouble on this show for saying that,
I know,
but
I know, but still,
some stuff we have to be careful, but not that. I mean,
not that.
it is what it is. I
And
can't
I'm
believe
not judging. I've done
I'm not
drugs on the dance
judging.
floor several times, but
I'm not saying anything other than can't believe that they would post something like that
well,
and show
so it was really a picture of the entire dance floor, right? And they
that.
just kind of
Hmm.
wanted to show the picture that there's no social distancing, everybody's on top of each other basically. So, and then they zoomed into one little part of it, and then it's just this guy doing a bump right off of his head. And I'm like, well, that's a bit much, though. You really had to do a lot of work in order to look for that one person that's enjoying their best life and doing a little bit of recreational party favors. So I don't it's a balance thing. I think that you have to weigh your pros and your cons, and you have to do things in moderation. So I think that on both ends of the spectrum, going to the on the Atlantis cruise, that's not within moderate terms right now, and go gaze over COVID is kind of going. It's like a seesaw basically. Both of them are like, I want to be on the bottom. No, I want to be on the bottom.
Yeah, and listen, these are businesses we're talking about.
Yeah.
Vacaya, Atlantis events are businesses that this is how they make their money, through the cruise line, and
Hmm.
everyone's taking a hit right now. You've worked in the restaurant industry, and
Yep.
you know the direct we don't want anybody to be losing out on their income
It's
based
true.
on a pandemic. It's sad. And I think life does have to move on. I think I probably wouldn't get on a cruise right now. I wouldn't
Yeah. Me
have
either.
all, and even with the 2 month rule that they don't allow you to cancel it. However, people booked this cruise in that period that we had, that period where there was a light where it seemed like everything was like, oh, we're out of this. And turns
I was
out
going out.
we're kind of back at it here. And with that, I don't think I would have, because I would have predicted we don't know what's to come. And given what we did know about cruise lines in the past, that people were stuck out at sea, I just wouldn't want to. I would want to know. There's too many questions that I bet they didn't have answers for, to
Mhm.
and there's too many other places or things that I could have done or just sit tight. That being said, I know business needs to thrive on, and Atlantis events, we don't want them to go under. We don't want Vacaya Cruise to go
It's
under.
true.
I think
I would like to
Vacaya,
go on one at
yeah,
some point, just not
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, well, we'll get on one of those with the show like I did a
Ooh.
couple. Yeah. And yeah,
Perfect.
exactly. So, anyways, we wish everyone well. I'm glad that Vakaya followed up
We
with it
do.
and said that they did it successfully and no one's out at sea still in bad circumstances waiting, you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
went at work. I'm sure it's working. The pictures of the current Atlantis cruise, everyone's living their
It
best
looks
life
like
right
people are having
now.
a good time, right?
Yes. Anything we want to read from our live audience?
Marcus says that his sister-in-law went on a girls' trip, which was a cruise, and there were only 400 people on the entire ship. And I would be totally comfortable doing something like that. I think the 5,000 number is what is so daunting to me. That's a lot of people. And
So, question for Marcus was: did they end the cruise? Was everything fine? And they had a
he said they
blast.
had a
Okay,
blast.
they had a blast. Great, and great. Okay, so this is good.
Yeah.
So 400, 5,500, 2,000. I mean, but really, you can get. We know people that are getting the
It's true. It doesn't
virus.
matter.
I just do go back to, though, if I had a underlying condition and I booked this, well, I probably wouldn't book this if
Mhm.
I had an underlying condition, knowing that there could be a refire like we're experiencing right now. I probably wouldn't have booked it in the first place
Yeah.
because, or I would have asked the critical questions. What's my out? Are you going to
Yeah.
let me cancel? And Atlantis probably said, nope, nope, nope,
And you would
nope.
have been like, never mind,
Oh,
hang up.
never mind. Yeah. So, you know what? Rethinking it. All right. We wish everyone well. I can't wait to keep following all that. I know you can go to the hashtag on most social media, Atlantis events, and see. Yeah,
You
it's
stalking?
I'm stalking. Yeah. Oh
Let me
yeah.
go
Oh
follow
yeah.
too.
Absolutely. All right. We got to move on. Um, Moving on. I think this was the next topic. I don't know why I had.
Lucas Gage.
Yeah, that I didn't write
Yes.
this in my thing. Okay, we are on to that story. So I know you started watching the show White Lotus and we're
Uh-huh.
kind of on the fence of it, not your favorite.
I
I
I just didn't get sucked in. It's not like I disliked it. I just didn't it didn't touch my soul. It didn't touch my funny bone. It didn't touch my butthole. Like,
It
oh,
did
go
all
ahead.
of the above for me. Mike White, I believe it's Mike White, who is the writer, producer of The White Lotus on HBO. Huge fan of it. Huge fan of him. He's gay, and I believe he was also on, as my friend told me, Survivor, and did well on
Okay.
it. Yeah, but beyond
Oh.
all that, he also wrote an incredible show that only had a couple seasons called Enlightened with Laura Dern
Yeah.
on HBO, and obsessed with that show. So when
It
this
looks
came
really
out,
good.
oh yeah, it was really great. White Lotus star Lucas Gage says TV needs more rimming. Yep, we're talking about that kind of rimming. In a recent episode of Watch What Happens Live, Andy Cohen, who's always known to go in there and not like a good rim job, he sat down with Gage to talk all about things White Lotus and get the specific background on that infamous ass-eating scene that had
Mhm.
pretty much the whole internet talking. In a clip, Andy read a viewer question asking Gage if he had anything if he had Manscaped to prepare for
Oh.
his salad tossing scene in the show. In the scene, Armand, who's played
Yes.
by who I love,
Incredible.
Armand Bartlett, and Dylan, played by Gage, are hooking up in Armand's office when the kissing turns into Armand going down and eating Dylan's ass. Quote, as a
Ooh.
natural blonde, I'm naturally a little bit smoother, so some exfoliating was needed. Okay. But no trimming or waxing, he said. Cohen
Ugh.
followed up asking if Gage had been the one on set to suggest the scene involving the rim job. Quote, I thought we should normalize rimming, Gage said. I think that ass eating needs to be talked about more. In the script, it was just written as sex. and we've
Mhm.
seen sex on TV. Let's have some ass eating. I am so here for this
Yep.
because y- us gays have to push the boundaries if we want to see more representation. More representation to me means more ass eating on television. And
Yes.
when you have a current blockbuster star, who's the star that I was just talking about offline on um, Nightmare Alley? Um,
I should have
oh,
written it down. I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
who's just got a major star right now, who I love, is currently gone full frontal nudity, and he's a straight actor. And when we're competing with
Bradley
that,
Cooper.
Bradley Cooper, thank
That's
you.
it.
When
See, I do listen
almost
to you.
Thank you. In our production meeting, we talked about this, and I knew it off the top, and I didn't put it in my new notes here. But when in the same week, Bradley Cooper is being touted as having full frontal in his current movie, and it's like, ooh, Bradley Cooper full frontal, and how did he feel about that, and was it right for the actor's integrity? We have this character in White Lotus, this actor saying, no, forget about full frontal. It's all about ass eating. And I think we're paving the way as
I
gay
love it.
people. Like, we have to move the needle forward. We can't just be full
Yeah.
frontal. And so I think kudos to that, for them doing that. Absolutely. What do you think?
Ass eating is the new wave. It's the new frontier in movies. I was telling you offline, Eric Dane from Grey's Anatomy, Dr. McSteamy, he was just eating an ass on Euphoria of Kristen Birdsong, who I follow on. I like to think we're friends, but we're not really friends. We're just Instagram buddies. Kristen
Hey,
Birdsong on Euphoria. I know, but it's okay. I'm here with it. I'm comfortable. I know my place in the hierarchy. But yeah, so Eric Dane was eating ass on Euphoria, and I'm telling you, it's the new frontier. I want to get mine out too. Get my ass out and get my ass ate on TV.
absolutely. I mean, I think it's so pushing the boundaries for television. If you're, like I said before, if you're going to have a straight actor showing full frontal at this point in the game, us gays, they need to move the needle, and we need to show that. It's interesting, following up with that story, though, I was reading a current Reddit thread that says how to unlock the pleasure of getting your butt eaten out.
Mm-hmm.
And they write, hey, so I am a big time bottom, and I also don't like having my but I don't like having my butt eaten because
Oh,
it's always been whatever. Like, maybe the guys I've been with are just bad at eating ass, but I also don't see the big whoop over rimming. I would rather just have a plug in me or a dick over being rimmed. And,
okay.
I read through the threads of
Mm-hmm.
what people said, and some people said, yeah, it's sometimes there's just not enough sensation there, and they're not into it. Maybe
We
you
gotta.
need to somebody said you just need to get pounded for, like, with a big dick for several hours, and then it's going
Wow.
to loosen you up, and then you're definitely going to feel it, and then you're going to want to get rimmed. I don't know that I've ever thought, it's not something that I seek out,
Uh-huh.
getting it as a bottom primarily. I'm just going to speak for myself.
Okay.
However, I remember a time when I had this great fuck buddy back in LA,
All
and I was
right.
an actor, and
I'm
I
listening.
I met him, and I would go over to his place, drive over to Western Street in LA, and go to his apartment. He was 6'3",
Okay,
big
that's
guy,
already your
kind of
butthole's
Tom,
already opened up.
yeah, kind of huge dick. He would open the door.
Nice.
I never knew how he was going to open the door, and oftentimes it was naked, and I would just be like,
Oh.
"Oh my god, here we go!" And he would just lead me in, and we'd get down to business. And one of our favorite things that we started off sex with was 69ing it. So I
Oh,
went down on his cock on bed flat, just sucking away like there was no tomorrow. And
nice.
he ate my ass like there was no tomorrow. It was the most in unison, symphonic,
Oh,
pleasurable
oh, oh, it was a
Janet
symphony.
Jackson moment I've ever. I
You
mean,
heard music. Oh my goodness. Were there fireworks too?
Pretty much. No, the fireworks came after then. He turned me over and fucked me like there's no tomorrow, and I
Oh,
came
shit.
like, "Ah." But
Love it.
I loved getting my ass eaten as I sucked on his beautiful cock, and we were so, like, sucked in this beautiful figuration. I wish somebody
There
would
was a
have ha
symbiosis.
symbiosis, and yeah. I want that sauce to lick up, believe me.
Oh
I
my
wish I
goodness.
bottled it, but yeah,
Yes.
I often jerk off thinking about that.
Oh, I think I might too. So I think that what you have to do when you eat ass, this is a pro ass eater tip right here. You
Okay.
have to vary the sensations down there because when you are just doing one thing on the ass, it gets a little bit monotonous and boring. So you have to lick the balls, put your tongue in and out of the hole. So run your tongue around the hole and just vary the sensation is all I have to say. A nice tip that I have learned is to spell the alphabet with your tongue on the asshole.
Ooh.
So, and it
And
drives the
there's
guys
how many
wild.
letters are there in the alphabet? That's a
Then
lot.
start over and then do A. I don't even know how many letters are in the alphabet. That sounds like a math question that I don't have the
But you
answer
could
to.
mix it
So
up, like, just let your mind stream of
Daniel says
conscious.
26 letters. Thank you, Daniel. Go ahead.
Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting too because I just saw this porn handle somebody write like they ate their this guy's ass like it was a pussy.
Oh,
And is do you
okay.
think there's a
Well,
difference?
I don't, I wouldn't
Look who I'm
know.
asking.
In this hat and this kimono moment, you're
In this
asking
Andre
me?
Tele Leon moment, in the name of Andre Leon Tele,
I
I
know,
don't think we're
right?
gonna get our answer
I
tonight.
don't think so,
Um,
but I guess yes. I'll poll the audience. Do you guys know what if eating ass is like eating pussy? Do you guys know?
Well, that's right. That some of the things that people wrote too were not into it, not that. The only time I've ever not really been into it, because I think it's such a great foreplay moment and it is sensitive around that area and you can make it sensitive. And if somebody really goes down there, I think it could be really amazing. The only
Oh
time I've ever
yeah.
been a little bit on the nervous side is if I don't know if they're going to start like chewing or biting down
A
there
little bit of teeth
and
is okay. Steve, I'm telling you, as eating professional over here, and just a little bit, just a little nibble.
a little bit, but some people go a little nuts on that. And the other time is when I've been out and I didn't realize I was going to get fucked that night. So
Hmm.
fill in the blank, or I'll fill it in for you
Yeah.
right now. I
Hmm.
didn't
Go ahead.
clean out,
Hey.
but I trusted Dr. Goldstein, proctologist, been on the show before, the good ass doctor, who says, in general, if you're eating a good diet, you're clean down there. And I thought I was probably fine. However, not maybe fine to be having my ass eaten, fine to getting fucked. In other words, there
Okay.
wouldn't be, not going to be any accidents happening or anything like
Yeah.
that. But
But
I don't know that you need to be hanging out down there with your
yeah.
nasal passages. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, can we
I could
scale
go
over?
into some random
I'm sure you
facts
could.
right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to
What are
save
the
our
people
audience.
saying?
The people are saying, so when you first started your last story about the 69 moment that you had, Teddy goes, Western and what? LOL. He wants to know where this man is.
Oh, child, that was like 1998.
And I say,
Long
calm
gone.
down, Teddy girl. Okay. And then, so when I asked the question about if they knew whether or not eating ass was like eating pussy, they both said they have no idea. Teddy even goes as far as to say, what is a pussy? So I don't know if we have time
Okay.
to explain that to
Well, yeah, exactly.
him. And Daniel agrees with me that nibbling is a very good thing. Can I tell you the first time I got my ass ate, I was
Please.
climbing the walls and it was amazing. So just for a note out there that it can be absolutely stellar if the person knows what they're doing.
And you know what? You're right. And the thing is, what I think people don't realize is, and this is a good thing because we keep getting this on Tags podcast, people that are strict tops that want
Mhm.
nothing to do with, or my boyfriend really wants me to try, but
Mhm.
I'm really not into bottoming. And this could be such a great thing between you and your partner or somebody that you're
Yeah.
exploring all this, because it doesn't involve the penetration of it all.
Yeah.
But you have to imagine that
I
your
love it.
prostate, which we all know, we're going to get a little scientific here or basic science here,
Yeah.
is pleasurable.
It
So
is.
why wouldn't
And it's
the
only about 2 inches in, I think.
yeah, why wouldn't the peripheral area, like so many other areas, be sensitive to it? And even when it's not, like take your nipples, for example. Like I didn't always have the most sensitive nipples, but through people licking them and chewing and spending time really made them sensitive. And the same can happen with that area. If you know that the ass is a sensitive region, the exterior can be just as fun, and it can be such fun foreplay between you and whomever, right? I say go
Oh, for
for it.
sure. And
Yeah.
I was misinformed. It's about 4 inches, which is still isn't a long way to go. I say
Yeah.
go for the gold with your tongue. The prostate is about 4 inches within your rectum.
And I'm about 10 inch. I mean, I want 10, but and that's pleasurable for me. So yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, everybody's got their inches. I'm deep. I am
Hey,
deep.
you
I
are.
mean,
Thank you,
I
Teddy.
am deep. If you join us in
Deep as a
a little
well.
bit later and wondering why we got these get-ups on, it's all in honor of Andre Leon Talley. And we are working it here.
We're
And
going for our
yeah,
fashion moments, darling.
yeah. Should we skip to Home Depot story, Cody?
Sure. Let's go ahead.
Yeah,
We are
yeah.
we can always come back.
We can always come back. So okay, there's a recent Home Depot aisle. Some Home Depot employees forgot to work out the kink, so to speak, in this funny story in aisle 15. I got this story from Queerty, or maybe that employees were sneaking their fetishes into the workplace, as seen in images that I'll post on TAGSPodcast.com in a I'm not sure what city was it. Did you figure out what city this
I
was?
can look it up really quick.
Look it up. But Home Depot in aisle 15, somewhere in the country in the US, a sign read as you're looking for what to go. And I need these signs when I'm in Home Depot because I'm so not mechanical. I'm not. I'm like the worst. But this is what the sign read: hardware, lubricants, rope, chain, screws, tie downs. I mean,
Okay.
it was a
Sounds like fun
BDSM
to me.
dream. Aisle 15 for BDSM bumps, it was like the best. People wrote on Reddit, I hear they have some really good hard and soft woods, wrote one Redditor.
Oh.
Another one wrote, active in the BDSM scene, revealed that Home Depot is their favorite place. Confirmed, another commenter added, most of the scene gets their gear from hardware stores. Um, yeah,
Guess
pretty
what gear?
explicit. Well, gloves, tie downs, rope and
Okay.
chain, and lubricant.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a play on. I mean, I don't think they thought of this. It's just funny, but it got me thinking based on this next story that don't
Mhm.
DIY it. Really,
Yes.
we are now in 2022, and there is so many sex stores out there that can ship things to you without, like, without putting a label on it, and you can get your toys that are meant to be toys and not do this, like this next story. I mean, I think that
Yeah.
was a really fun take, and that probably was a real Home
Super
Depot
light.
moment, but
Get ropes
don't
from
go
there.
there. Yeah, if you know what you're doing, maybe get some ropes there. But besides that, like this next story, a man attempted to achieve erection, like ED, severely injured after his partner put an expanding foam inside his urethra. This is kind of a creepy
Aretha
story.
Franklin? No, wait. Oh,
I know. An
Aretha.
American man may never be able to use his
Oh,
penis
no.
again after his partner accidentally sprayed expanding foam up his urethra in a sex act gone wrong. The 45-year-old patient had to have a new opening cut between his scrotum and his anus
Oh,
so
my
that he
goodness.
could urinate when the foam hardened and became anchored in his penis. Medics who treated him revealed he will only qualify for reconstructive surgery if he passes a psychiatric
Oh,
evaluation. I mean,
no.
the man was struggling with impotence, right? Erectile
Yeah.
dysfunction, and had been inserting various objects into the opening of his penis during sex to kind of stay erect. But things went wrong when the partner
Mm,
tried to
mm,
use the
mm, mm.
straw of a can of insulation spray to keep him
Oh,
firm. At
no.
some point, the man's unidentified partner accidentally hit the button on top of the can, deploying the foam
Oh, my
inside of
goodness.
his penis. And the foam, normally used for home insulation, hardened and was left with several masses inside of the member and bladder. And this guy didn't go, Cody, to the emergency room for like weeks, like a couple weeks.
3 weeks, I
So
think you said. That
yeah,
is
I
so
mean,
horrible.
anytime I've ever had an emergency, I'm like, suck it
Let's
up,
go right now.
let's go. Pretty much. I mean,
Time is ticking.
even with my ankle, when I had this, I was like, oh no. I'm like, I think I have a day to ice it. Maybe I just sprained it and I'll be all okay.
Mm-mm.
But I knew after that 24 hours, and I
Yeah.
needed crutches too, because I didn't have. Once my friend got me crutches, I knew, go to the emergency room, and thank God I did. And but oh my
Yeah.
God, this is where,
I can't imagine.
yeah, don't do it yourself at home. And with erectile dysfunction, I mean, I just had this wonderful guest on the show, Susan Bratton, on the show. You guys
Mhm.
could listen to episode 316. And there's so many advances. You have to know there are so many advances in just life. But for erectile dysfunction, there are so many ones where you don't even have to take a pill every day.
Yeah.
We've gotten to a point. Listen to episode 316, and there's natural remedies that can fix this,
Yeah.
and therapists, and we talk to all the time on this show, Cody,
Yeah,
of
we do.
sex therapists, and there is a way to get beyond this. Why on earth would anybody ever do it yourself and use sprays from Home Depot? It's just
Yeah, I don't
no,
understand
no,
it.
no, no. What are your
Please,
thoughts?
guys, just don't stick any home items or anything from Home Depot inside of any of your orifices. There are smart and freaky freaky
Yeah.
people out there that have invented things to go inside everything that you have on your body for your pleasure and enjoyment. I'm sure there is something, I'm not really 100% sure that somebody has invented something to go within your urethra instead of trying to just do it yourself. Don't be MacGyver. Don't be a hero on this when it comes to this. Your health is the most important thing, especially in these times. We just reported on the story. Well, never mind. Yes.
No, you're right. And you're so right. And I think, yeah, we live in an age where you can find there's so many tools literally out there that don't require you going to Home
Not at
Depot.
Home Depot.
No, don't do this. It's life threatening. These are, I can attest. I've talked about it on the show before. I once had I had to go to the emergency room, but it
Mhm.
was with a toy. It was actually a sex toy
See?
that just had a mishap on it. It was one of those pumps that was a dildo, and it
Mhm.
separated, and it was just a mishap with the toy. But it was, and I will never forget the nurse, because you feel such shame
Yeah.
when you have something go wrong, or you're in an emergency, or even like, what happened to you? And there's always shame. We live in such shame,
Yeah.
all the time. I'll never forget, the nurse said, you were playing with a toy, an adult toy.
Yeah.
Do not apologize. That toy fucked up,
Yeah. It's not
and
your
you have
fault.
nothing to apologize for. And this was a straight nurse
Yeah.
telling me. And I'll never forget that because we got through it and it was all good. But
Good.
don't do things and with Home Depot instruments or sprays or glues or no, I can't say no enough. Anybody saying anything other than ouch?
Just that you're deep. I don't know if I see anything else other than that. No, Teddy says that person is so lucky to have a penis at this point. So
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. All right. Well, I kind of want to get to the one story we talked about
Okay.
turn-offs.
Are we? Oh, yeah, me too.
Or
I
you
like
want to
that
get to the
one.
other one?
No, no, no. We can always
I think we have
circle
I
back
think we can do
around.
both
We can
if
do
we
both.
go. Yeah,
Come on,
okay.
we got this.
So let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So a recent Reddit thread got my interest and it asked the question, what's an odd immediate turnoff for you? And they write, sure, this probably gets asked all the time, but I have an odd one. The star tattoo, the star tattoos. You guys know what I'm talking about. We've all
Oh
seen
yeah.
guys with those star tattoos. Personally, I like those star
I
tattoos.
think they're so sexy.
It kind of makes me hard. I don't know, but you know which ones I'm talking about there, right? I don't know why, but I do not like them at all. It's such a turn off for me immediately. So they write, what's an odd thing that just turns you off? Disclaimer, this isn't to shame people or anything like that. And please do not do that on this post. I like that they wrote that,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just kind of
awesome.
like a conversation. And, you know, I've definitely been with somebody with
Let's be
those
light
stars. I
and
think we
fun.
all know those
Yeah.
star tattoos that
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know if they're popular in the straight world because I haven't seen a lot of straight people naked, but or just whatever. But I dated a guy back in the day and he had those, and I don't know. I thought they were kind of hot, but I get what
Me
he's
too.
talking about. That there
Yeah.
can be certain things. I mean, people in the thread, if you were to read the thread, where what turns me off is like people wrote bad feet or bad toenails
I feel like
and
that's universal though. Those two things I feel like nobody really likes. Bad feet and bad toenails. That sounds
yeah,
like
but let's keep
something.
it yeah, and I think let's keep it with what this guy was going for.
Yeah.
It's not
Okay, let's
like
do it.
it's not a attribute that someone's not taking care of themselves that turns you off.
Exactly.
It's really a choice that this person was
Yes.
writing about, that somebody chooses to imbibe or don like this silk robe that I'm
I
wearing.
mean, we look fabulous. I don't care if it doesn't turn somebody
Yeah,
on.
not a caftan, not a caftan, I might add, because I have a huge thing against caftans. Don't hate
What?
me. I know.
We have to talk about it
It's a
another
long
time.
story. This I got in Mykonos, and it's a robe, and I don't. It's probably the first time I've ever worn it, but
It
in
looks
honor of.
fab.
Thank you, darling. But I'll
Mhm.
have to say, I'll just start. The
Go
one
ahead.
thing that is a current trend that I see a lot of gays doing is painting their nails, men painting their nails. A- And I have a
Big.
feeling I had a conversation with you where you said, I'm thinking of painting my nails. And I mean, I'm here for it. When I see it on TV, sometimes the thing is when I see it on TV and someone's talking, I'm like, what's going on with their nail? Like, oh, is there and I'm like, oh, they're just painted. But to me, I don't even really love women's painted nails, to be honest. And I
What?
most of my female, like, I've always been like, I love Madonna and I love, my female don't have the nail thing going on. They're
Okay.
just strong women. So I don't even know
Uh-huh.
that I've ever liked it even on women that much. That being said, I don't
Okay.
mind it on women. The whole male phenomenon or painting their
I love it.
toenails, I can't. I can't. I just don't like it.
Well,
It's
I can't
I'm
wait to
but
do it.
but let me just say, don't come for me. Don't come for me because I think everybody should do whatever they want to do. Just
It's true.
know, no. Am I like hating on people? No. Will I,
Exactly.
if I met like the man of my dreams, would I be all and he had that? I would be but it's kind of a turn off to me. That and buffing the nails. Like just don't buff the nails. I don't want to look at glossy nails. I just want to look at
Really?
but I want clean cut nails.
Oh,
Just
wow.
just
Steve.
clean cut nails like mine I'm showing you right now, but not buffed out.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
need
it
to
just
actually
turns me
get
it
a
turns me off.
manicure. But I hear you, and now that you say that, I was having a hard time coming up with mine. I actually said that I judge people's fashion fashion choices. Like I went on a date with this guy and he had on teal army fatigue pants. And I said, I could see him walking in, and I was like, no, never again. Me and you will never go on another date ever in life. But now that you say it, I physically, I don't like men with no body hair. Well, yeah, okay. If you want to shave off all your body hair, then that is something that I cannot be down with, honestly. So I really enjoy body hair on a man.
Trimmed or
You can trim it, but if you are like a dolphin, I'm not with that.
well, so here's the thing, and it's a great time to bring up our sponsor, Manscaped, where you guys
Yes.
can get 20% off using our promo code tags by going to manscaped.com and free shipping. You can trim it so it doesn't like I have always been of the mindset back in the day, Cody, where I
Uh-huh.
bought razors and I would try and trim, and then inevitably I'm cutting myself. So I just cut the whole I was just totally bald, right? And it was
Uh-huh.
bad. Now with Manscaped, I can actually do it where there's a little bit there and
Oh,
it
yeah.
looks,
I
you know what I'm
love that.
saying? Yeah.
Nice and
But
well kept. But like my chest hair right now. I don't
it
know if you
looks
guys can.
delicious. I want to have a sushi roll on it with brown rice. Hamachi, perhaps?
Yes.
Yumbers.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, my
But
boyfriend, he loves to shave everywhere. And I was like, okay, babe, do this.
let's have a meet. We need a
Can we
powwow.
just discuss what level we're both comfortable with this with? Because like that's not
Oh, you
how
had
I
to have a
met him.
conversation.
I
Okay.
mean, it's not anything too drastic or crazy, but I feel like when he wants to wear bikinis a lot, then he's like, take it all away. And I'm like, can we just keep it a little bit though?
I like that though. No, but that's such a great conversation to have with your partner,
Yeah.
and I bet Cody that because I've been in this predicament before, when your partner or someone you're having sex with tells you what they like,
Oh yeah.
it's so much easier for him to keep on some of that hair. He's like, "Oh, child, please, you like some of this hair? That just you just shaved 10 minutes out of my routine every week. Thank you very
Uh-huh.
much." And
Yeah.
you better be eating that ass a little bit more now. I better see the results of that. And it's everything's a gauger,
I
a
get down. I eat it like it's
conversation.
groceries.
Okay, well, I'm not mad at that. Somebody wrote, I guess I'm off Steve's radar now because they're guilty of having their name. Well, okay, Daniel, to be honest, if and the thing is, it's just in general. I think it's just if I met somebody, and I think that's what this Reddit thread was talking about. If I met somebody and they had the nails painted, maybe it would just be an initial turnoff. I wouldn't be a deal breaker. If
Yeah.
I was dating somebody and they were like, for now I'm into this mode, I would probably go with it. And if it wasn't like forever, it's not that bad. It's just something that I don't love, or I don't love buffed nails either. But it's very we're just being nitpicky
But
on
we've been
these
to the nail
things.
salon together, so I don't know.
Yeah, and I told them, I don't know what you told them, but I remember saying they said because they always want to do that buff thing at the end. I'm
That
like,
clear.
no, all
Yeah.
you really need to do is keep things clean and cut perfectly. Do not do that buff for those. So you're looking at a glossy nail. I want when I wear my diamonds, I want them to look at my diamonds, not at my glossy nails. Thank you.
You don't wanna be blinding people with your nails. Okay, I
No,
get it.
or no Teddy, no French tips, never. But but if I do drag, I'm gonna put them on. Hey, I'm just saying.
Hey, cute.
Hey.
But in my checked column, both Daniel and Teddy well, Teddy says, "There goes his Nair sponsorship." So, I guess sorry, boo.
We
And
tried them
Daniel
already and they refused us, so that's why we're doing the segment. Yeah.
and Daniel said, "Yes, he has body hair, so he's good to go. We're all good to go."
Okay. Yeah, and these are all just preferences based on a Reddit
Exactly.
thread.
Not deal
Y-
breakers.
Not deal breakers. Exactly. Just
We're not
thoughts on it. Do we have
that
time to get to that
shallow.
other one? The
We are
boyfriend one? We
let's
do.
do it.
Let's just do it because you really, yeah. Okay, so another Reddit thread that really caught our interest, and I really want to hear Cody's thoughts on this, right? Should I be okay with my boyfriend wanting to keep his ex as a close
Mhm.
friend. Um, that's basically the thread. I'm not sure if it went on. They canceled this thread, but
Yeah, he deleted it.
people okay, people had a lot to say with it, including one person that said, "This was my thought. My partner is friends with an ex that he was with for a long time before me. At first it made me uncomfortable, but then I got to know him and now we're all good friends.
Mhm.
However, he writes, we would never spend time with him without me and not invite me to okay. Well, somebody wrote that. What was the Christmas Eve thing that we
Yeah, so
read?
the original poster said that
Thank you.
his his boyfriend wanted to spend Christmas Eve with the ex-boyfriend and Christmas Day with the current boyfriend, and
That would be
didn't
a help
invite
to the no.
I know, right? And didn't invite the current boyfriend to Christmas Eve with the ex-boyfriend. So basically, he's keeping them both apart,
Oh,
which is
okay.
a big red flag. It's those red flags that you see in in the emojis.
You're a super jealous person, self-admitted. You've said
Oh,
before.
damn!
There's no pearls to clutch, girl.
What?
Clutch that body, a little bit of cropped body hair that you got there. But I'm calling you out on this.
Ah!
And
Damn, bitch! Look,
what if Joe said, I feel like I've been in your company too, where Joe had an ex,
we're not
and
bringing it up,
okay,
okay?
we're not bringing it up,
Let's
but
not talk about it.
what are your thoughts on this in general? And if
So
can
you said it, and it's the first line in my note. Yes, I am a person, but I have come to
I said
learn.
jealous bitch, but okay.
Yes, I'm a jealous bitch, but I've come to learn, especially at my age, that I am not the only person that my significant other has dated. I'm working on myself. I would like to think that I've become much less jealous in the more recent years, and in the instances, especially if the things that need to be done in order to not pique my suspicious mind. I think that's a large part of it. I'm super suspicious. So I see red flags about everywhere. So,
Really? Not
so
to this day, though.
not currently with my boyfriend, no.
Yeah,
But
good.
but appropriate introductions need to be made. I think that that instance you were talking about, I was kind of blindsided by it. So
Right.
I think that that played a large part into it. Inviting me to events like Christmas that you plan,
Yeah.
or even things, even if you know I don't wanna go, like, if you're going to the store with your ex just to get groceries, say, "Hey, do you wanna come?" Not excluding me from things, not trying to keep me separate from the ex. Those are all red flags in my mind, so you need appropriate things need to be done, and in order for the trust to grow in the relationship and in you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with you. And we talked about this offline that I
Yeah.
think the old me, in so many ways, was so jealous. I remember having a boyfriend that he would talk about his exes, and they were like together for a really long time before us, and they even owned
Mhm.
property, I think, at one point. And even though I didn't really create a whole snit, I always had sort of an underlying like shadiness to like, oh, what did he have to say kind of thing.
Mhm.
I could hear it even in the tone that I would give to my boyfriend at the time. And I just think it was exhausting that I wouldn't want to carry that on today. The me now wouldn't have the energy, the time, the
Yeah.
interest to be like caring because I'm not in that insecure place anymore. I had one of the longest friendships with my first ever boyfriend, who we were together since 1995. I still talk to him. I was just messaging him earlier today, and we just he's always going to be in my life, and people that date me are always going to know that this person's we're going to be like communicating or seeing each other, and it's not that serious, and it's really all thing. I would have red flags if there were things like I need to spend time, because we were also talking about Hollywood couple types or people in general that you hear about that have to co-parent.
Mhm.
And
Oh, yeah.
if there's children in the mix, which
That's something completely
which
different.
mark my words, Cody, we're going to see this as gay marriage and and gays having
Adoption.
children and
Yes.
divorce is
And gay
inevitable,
divorce.
we're going to see this playing out in the years to come. Next generations are going to be seeing this, and how will they handle that?
Hmm.
Because I think when there are children, as we were saying offline, it creates a whole nother mix, and it's just better to keep it copacetic. But yeah, I
It's
don't think
better
there's
for the
anything.
kids.
Yeah, if
So,
you're solid with your partner, the person you're with, and they have a relationship, they had a life before
oh yeah.
this.
And
And
so for me, it's a constant battle. And that's something that I have to definitely continue to tell myself is that they had a life before me. They're not doing anything that's suspicious because I don't know why I'm so suspicious. I'm suspicious of you right now in that kimono. No, I'm not.
you should be. You should
You look
be.
fabulous. I'm just joking.
You should be a little suspicious. I love that word too,
No,
suspicious.
because you look
Uh,
so fabulous. You're still you're still in my heart. That's what it is.
but fun topic to discuss on how would
Oh
you
yeah,
handle
for
that. I
sure.
love that. Lastly, all in 2021 we were doing thirst trap from straight up gay porn, and
Mhm.
then they pared it down to two sets of groups that they ultimately decided the king of who took the best thirst trap. They
Okay.
finally came out with a winner. Cody, can you put that
I'm doing it
in
right.
the thread? I will post this on
Yes.
TAGSPodcast.com. So what they ended up doing, straight up gay porn ended up taking the two sets of nominees, and it ended up going down to 10 nominees, I believe.
Mhm.
One, two,
Mm,
three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. I think it was 10. And out of
okay.
those 10, they chose the Thirst Trap King of the Year. And the winner is Bo Butler. Bo
Okay.
Butler ended up being the winner. He was against Boots, Elf, Colton Reese, Roman Todd, Dalton Riley, Zach Astor, Ray Zexter, Roxas Calum, and
Mhm.
Italo Andrade.
Mhm.
Um, well, I'll just tell you my thoughts really quick.
Go ahead.
That I didn't know that, Bo Butler in this whole thing. If I had to choose one, since we talked about these every week, Idolo
Mhm.
Andrade came up a lot, and I thought he was so hot, and he would have been my choice.
Yeah,
However, I did a
mine too.
deep dive on Bo Butler, and in the picture that they're showing right now, he talk about like having hair and cropping it to perfect
The perfect length.
perfect length. Yeah, and he's in this picture, he's got a great smile, and I love feet, and he's got beautiful wide feet, and I'm all about his feet in this picture. And
Okay.
yeah, he gets it for me for the feet on that one.
I mean, he does
um
have nice feet. I will
they're beautiful,
admit
like, right?
that.
Yeah, I would totally
They're
worship
really
those.
beautiful, and I'm happy for him. Would he have been my pick? I don't think so, but
Okay.
it is what it is. I'm not the ultimate end all be all for, you know, who is the thirst trap king. It's a communal voting process that we went through. And I'm happy for him. I'm very happy for him. He's a sexy man. So, but
Who would you have picked?
eat a low in my heart.
Idol in our heart, yes. Well, like the Academy Awards, the nominees are also important as well. So
It is true.
nominated, yeah,
Every nominee
absolutely.
is a winner as well.
This has been so much fun. Oh my gosh, so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Um, don't forget, we have an after show that we're bringing back, and the after show will
Yes.
debut this week. So check that out. You can go to tagspodcast.com and figure out how to get the after show, and follow us on TikTok at Tags Podcast on the TikTok at Tags Podcast. Follow Kodi Maurice Doggette. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching,
Without the tip.
or without the tits, or right now as Mr.
Or
Maurice
with
with
the
the
tip.
tits, Mr. Maurice. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for playing. This has been so much fun. And in the meantime, Cody, what are we doing? Continue having hot,
Hot, gay
gay sex.
sex. Yeah.
Yes. Super fun. Oh my gosh.